自分は戦争には反対であった。My feeling is that war should not be fought. People may say that I had a valuable experience, but I don't think I care for that sort of experience. The battleground brings out the ugliest part of human beings.
In 1944, Toyotomi Koyama was a corporal attached to the Imperial Army Tank Corps in the Philippines. Today he is an artist in Los Angeles, California. Ignacio Pasos is a carpenter living in North Hollywood, California. In 1944, he too fought in the Philippines as a sergeant in the United States Army 1st Cavalry Division.
When I was up for discharge, they told me they'd give me a good grade if I stayed in the Army. But I told them, I've had it. I was lucky enough to come back with 2 arms and 2 legs, and I just wanted out.
In the final battle for the Philippines, the lives of Toyotomi Koyama and Ignacio Pasos came together for a brief moment. 2 fighting men, 1 Japanese, 1 American, relive that moment in history. I'm Jim Bishop. In 1942, General Douglas MacArthur was ordered to leave the Philippine Islands before they fell to the Japanese. As he left, he made a promise, I shall return. To the Filipinos, to those who were left behind, MacArthur's words were a guarantee that American forces would return. Now, in the fall of 1944, Douglas A. MacArthur is about to fulfill that promise. For more than 2 years, the Japanese have held the Philippine Islands. By the end of summer, the American drive across the Pacific has cracked through their outer defenses and is heading toward the Philippines. More than 200,000 men are brought in to defend the islands. To command this army, the Japanese picked the conqueror of Singapore, Tomoyuki Yamashita, regarded by some as Japan's greatest general. Out of 7,000 islands in the Philippine archipelago, Yamashita predicts the Americans will land in the central Philippines on the beaches of Leyte. He sends only 1 division to that island to fight a delaying action. The bulk of his army is kept on the northern island of Luzon, from where he can launch a crippling counterattack. By September 1944, the Japanese are convinced invasion is imminent. They will let the Americans strike, then use the full force of the Japanese Army, Navy, and Air Force to crush them. To spearhead such a counterpunch, he chooses units from the Imperial Army Tank Corps. Behind one of their guns is a 22-year-old corporal, Toyotomi Koyama.
自分が軍隊に招集されたのは I was in my 3rd year of college studying physics in Japan when I was drafted into the army. That was 3 years ago. I hope the war will end soon so I can go back to my studies. Since the Philippine people speak Spanish, we are told to call them amigo to show them we are all friends. On the outside, they are very courteous to us, but there is bad feeling underneath, and it is growing worse. Our officers are being ambushed, and we must organize small platoons to counter the activities of their guerrillas. Swarms of American planes fly overhead. They attack our ships in Manila Bay near Bataan. They bomb our planes at Clark Airfield. Up to now, I had hopes of returning to Japan. Now, my hopes are gone.
October 15th, the U.S. 7th Fleet and transports head for the Philippines. Over 700 ships Aboard are more than 200,000 men of the U.S. 6th Army, veterans of Guadalcanal, New Georgia, Bougainville, and New Guinea. Under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, they must deliver the 1-2 punch to liberate the Philippines. First, Leyte, then Luzon. 16 waves of assault troops are to go ashore. The men of the 1st Cavalry Division will head for a mile-long stretch of sand called Beach White. With them is a sergeant from Phoenix, Arizona, 23-year-old Ignacio Pasos.
When we were back at Fort Bliss, Texas, my outfit, the 1st Cavalry, never expected to go across. We were mounted troops. We rode horses all the time, and we figured they ain't got no use for mounted. All of a sudden, they tell us, "You got 7 days to get your affairs in order." The horses disappeared quick enough. They left us the name Cavalry, but we're an infantry outfit now. We figured the Marines would go into the Philippines and take all the glory like they did at Guadalcanal, and we'd get stuck with our usual job, spending months in the stinking jungle mopping up. But this is going to be an all-Army show for a change.
The convoy heads for the bombardment area, but a network of mines blocks the entrance to Leyte Gulf. Minesweepers and demolition teams are called up to clear the way. For 24 hours, American guns plaster the island of Leyte. A-Day, the bombardment is turned on full force while the Army gets set to go ashore.
At times, you wish you can stay on board ship forever. Then you think, you have to go in sometime, and you might as well get it over with. When you're going in, you want to get someplace where you can dig in and protect yourself. Out here in a boat, if someone starts shooting at you, where are you going to go? Then the steel door drops down, and you're afraid there's a machine gun waiting to get you. A Navy boatmate tells me that every time he lowers that ramp, he feels like he's sending more men in to be killed. I bet right now, a lot of guys must be thinking, if MacArthur says, "I shall return," why do we have to go with him? We push in about a half mile before we meet up with opposition. It's mostly small arms fire. Then we run into a couple of pillboxes. They're so camouflaged and built in, you have to practically walk over them before you can find them.
4 hours later, MacArthur himself comes ashore to keep a promise he made 2.5 years ago.
We're way ahead of our schedule. We captured some tin buildings on Tacloban airstrip. They're supposed to contain some kind of instruments that intelligence wants intact. Turns out they're full of whiskey and sake. Intelligence wants that intact, too.
Within 24 hours, American troops capture Leyte's capital city, Tacloban. Its airport can now be used to blast the anchor on the Philippine chain, Luzon. The Imperial Navy now launches Operation Shogo. 3 Japanese task forces head for the Philippines. The carriers will be offered as bait to lure the powerful U.S. Third Fleet away from Leyte. The 2 other forces will then converge to smash the American 7th Fleet in Leyte Gulf. The Americans grab the bait. The Japanese plan works perfectly. The 3rd Fleet steams north to chase the Japanese carriers. October 23rd. American submarines spot the Japanese ships heading for Leyte Gulf and make the first move. The Japanese cannot match the high-speed portable runways of the American carriers. October 25th, the battle is all but over. As an effective striking force, the Japanese Navy is finished. On the main island of Luzon, Yamashita feels it is pointless to make a stand in the capital city, Manila. Its civilian population is too great. Its buildings too inflammable. Its flat land would require too many troops to defend it.
We are sent to San Miguel on the Central Plains, just north of Manila. If the Americans land on Luzon, we will be in a central position to attack. Being just soldiers and not officers, we cannot grasp the whole situation of the war, but we can feel that danger is approaching.
Yamashita leads his army to the hills. He has a force half the size of MacArthur's. The Japanese dig in and wait. The Americans must come to them. But the Japanese Navy, under different orders, has no intention of pulling out of Manila. Instead, they cram 16,000 troops into an area of 14 square miles. Their plan of action, a fight to the last man. They turn the streets of the city into a deadly obstacle course. Mines, depth charges, even airplane bombs are placed in the path of the expected attack. Every house and every building is transformed into a small arsenal. As one soldier puts it, if the Americans manage to get to Manila, they'll have to take it one room at a time. January 9th, 1945. S-Day, the invasion of Luzon. Phase 2 of the American plan to liberate the Philippines. Committed to the operation, 15 divisions, nearly 300,000 men. The mightiest army in the Pacific War.
The landing puts us closer to Japan, so we figure they're really going to come at us this time. Actually, it's good to think like that. You prepare for the worst. Then whatever happens, it doesn't seem so bad after all.
There is little opposition from the Japanese. The 6th Army surges forward. They are to drive south down the Central Plains to Manila.
When we meet them on the ridges, they're all dug in. They're not firing at us at all. They don't want to give their positions away. They just wait until they can get a good shot at us. Then they open up. Somebody has got to get close enough to use the flamethrower or toss a hand grenade and get them out of there. We figure it's you or him. If you can get the jump on him, man, you've got it made. They say the Japanese fight for their emperor, the English for their king, and the Americans fight for souvenirs. I guess it's true. Right after things are over, we go out and see what we can find. Everybody has to have some kind of souvenir to prove that we were really here.
For 2 weeks, bitter fighting delays the American push to the south. But by the end of January, 6th Army's rear is secure. The green light is on for the drive to Manila.
The Filipino guerrillas come down from the hills and give us information about the Japanese, where they're at, how many, are they worth going after. Some of the guerrillas help us out quite a bit. Others are just trying to cash in on the glory. We follow the assault troops through the villages, and on all the buildings, wherever there's a little space on the wall, some guy draws a picture and writes, "Kilroy was here." That way, we know our boys have already passed through and cleaned the place out.
We learned that Americans have conquered Leyte, and now they are trying to capture Luzon. They're driving south from Lingayen. We are to meet them head-on. We have to stop them before they get to Manila. We are being pushed back by enemy planes. We call for our planes to help us, but they do not come. Our Air Force has run out on us. We are forced to retreat and hide under the trees. I take the machine gun off the tank and move away from it. A minute later, I see my tank blow up. Escaping is all we can do. They chase us all the way into the mountains. Everyone is near starvation. You eat wherever you can to stay alive. One soldier, about 50 years old, asks me for a grenade. I know what he's going to do with it. He walks to the bank of the hill, and I hear the explosion. Many die from hunger and sickness. There are mountainous piles of Japanese corpses. There are 285 men in my company. Only 20 are left. In my platoon, only 2 of us are still alive.
When the people see the American army coming, they know they're liberated. It's wild. It sure gives you a good feeling to know you can make people so happy. You haven't had a hot meal for a long time. You get set to eat and some kids come around and look at you. You just shove your food over to them. Grown-ups don't suffer like the kids. A grown-up can always hustle for his own. But what can a kid do?
Hours after starting their drive, American troops are at the gates of Manila.
One of the places that had to be cleaned out is the ballpark. They're hiding at the far end of the stadium, under the bleachers and seats and everything, shooting across to our side. Some ball game. They've got a crossfire going. One machine gun on one side of the street and another machine gun on the other side. They protect each other. And you're dead if you're caught in the middle.
Americans claw their way forward as the Japanese continue their savage defense. February 15th. Lacking proper communications, General Yamashita learns only now of the battle raging in Manila. He orders Admiral Iwabachi to pull all troops out at once. It is too late. The Americans have surrounded the city. The Japanese are being squeezed from every direction. All withdrawal routes are cut off. Escape is impossible. But surrender, says Iwabachi, is out of the question.
They've got this place so well entrenched that they fire a shot from one side, and before you know it, the same guy is shooting at you from the other side. They crawl through these concealed tunnels. They're diehards. They won't give up. They know they're beaten, but they won't give up.
March 3rd, organized resistance comes to an end. On its day of liberation, the city of Manila, the Pearl of the Orient, is a massive graveyard. 1,000 Americans, 16,000 Japanese, 100,000 civilians. Sergeant Ignacio Passos rotates back to the U.S. in August 1945. He is discharged the same day the atom bomb is dropped on Hiroshima. Corporal Toyotomi Koyama, after holding out in the mountains for 3 months, finally surrenders to the Americans, more than a week after VJ Day. More than 13,000 Americans, over 200,000 Japanese are killed in the battle for the Philippines. The war ends while they are still fighting here in the Philippines.